Hi, Assalamualaikum, Ala Shafira. Okay, thank you for joining us in today's interview session regarding the mini survey assignment. So, we about the effects of accents towards daily communication and language learning among final year DEC students at KPMSI. Okay, moving on to the question. Intan?
Okay, are you ready, Alia?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, first question. Would you like to change your accent? Please state your opinion and the reason why you want to change it.
Okay. Honestly, back then, yes, because other accents sounds cooler and more expensive. If you get what I mean. Like British accents sound really pleasing to my ears, such as water. Like it really sounds expensive in my opinion. But then, as I grow older, I don't think I want to change my accent that much because I finally realized that every accent has its own uniqueness, and I'm very, very comfortable to speak with this accent, which is English Malaysian accent. And I don't feel like I am faking anything. So, yeah, to answer your question, I do not want to change my accent anymore, but learning other accents would really definitely benefit me. So, yeah, why not?
Okay, that's great. Okay, so second question is who has influenced your accent?
Alright, I think people around me influence my accent because we hear them talking and we started to copy them as well. And we are really easily absorbed and influenced by other people. So, for example, my family speaks English with Malaysian accent in it, and my teachers and even my friends do it as well. And in my opinion, I started to copy them because it would make me easier to communicate with them, and we would understand each other even better. Also, I think the major contributor to my current accent, which is the Malaysian accent, would be my first language, which is Bahasa Melayu, because I have been using the language ever since the first day I could talk and up until right now. And I could say that my the way I speak or my accent is really contributed by my first language and people around me who speaks with me.
Oh, okay, understood. Okay, so in your opinion, is it okay to have multiple accent you can change to?
In my view, it would be really interesting if people could change from one accent to another accent. In my opinion, it really shows that the person has a really strong grasp on the language and the accent that they are talking to. Because learning accent is not something that you could just master in the day. Like for example, if you learn the British accent, it doesn't mean you have to watch. It doesn't mean like if you watch a video, then you could master it instantly. But then you need a lot of practices. You need to check on the pronunciation and everything. Besides that, I think shifting from one accent to another is really great, as some people from abroad couldn't understand our accent that much. So, for example, Australian people might have a hard time to understand us speaking because, like I said earlier, Malaysian people usually have this Malaysian accent while they're talking English. So if we could change to another accent, which is the Australian accent, it would be great so that it would be easier for people to communicate with each other and understand each other even better.
Oh, okay. So previously, you've said to us that you're comfortable with the English Malay accent, right? But back then, have you ever tried faking an accent? And if yes, please provide the evidence or example, like what accent did you try to fake, or would you like to reenact the fake accent? Why did you even fake it in the first place?
Okay. Honestly, I have never faked my accent in my day-to-day conversation. But then, sorry, if I speak to you like this, it means I speak with other people like this too. I'm not faking it. But then back then, of course we have tried to fake or to try mimic people's accent. For example, the British accent is really really famous. So like, could you get me a cup of water, something like that. You know what I mean? And for example, the Australian people, like they speak something like the famous phrase would be "Day mate." Like I'm really bad at mimicking them, but I honestly believe that every people have tried to try to fake their accent in a way. And I think the purpose of us doing that is just because we want to hear what we would sound like in that accent and not like making jokes or insulting, making fun of them. It's just that we want to know how hard it would be and how would we sound like, because in my view, like I did earlier, the British accent. British accent is really hard to make, in my opinion, because they have their own pronunciation, their own uh, pronunciation, and how they spell things is also different as well. So I think we did it because like I mentioned earlier, we would want to know how hard would it be and how it would sound like in that accent.
Okay. Okay, so do you have or learn any kind of English accent? If yes, perhaps you would like to try speaking in the accent right now.
Honestly, I have never learned any accent online or offline because honestly, I do not have much time these days. I am quite busy with my college stuff and my assignment. But then, if I have the opportunity to learn, I would want to learn British accent because, like I have mentioned on the first question, I really love how it sounds like. It sounds so pleasing and expensive, and a lot of actor and actors who speaks in British accents, they tend to talk really fast. So I would like to learn the British accent because sometimes I couldn't catch up what they said and I need subtitles. What are they saying? So I could understand better. But then if I have the opportunity to learn the accent, I would learn the British accent because I would want to understand them better.
Okay, moving on to the
Okay, so
next question.
oh,
So you said that British accent is much easier, right? So, in your opinion, which English accent do you want it to learn about more? For example, American accent or British accent?
Alright. To answer this question is really quite tricky because alright, in school we learn British accent, like the way of we spell things and the word choice of word. For example, we use taxi in British accent. I'm sorry, British spelling. But then for American English, they use the word cab, which is different, and some people might have a hard time to differentiate things. And the spelling as well, such as color, where the American, British English would have the letter U after the O, and the American English do not have any U. But then when it comes to accent, we tend to follow American accent actually. I don't know why, but it probably because it is easier and it doesn't have any strong pronunciation. Like, okay, example, for English, American English accent, they would say a little bottle of water, something like a little bottle of water. It's easier to say. But for British accent, they would say something like a little bottle of water. I'm not really good
Yeah.
at making saying speaking in accent, you know. But then you get what I mean. Like they have sometimes they would emphasize their T, and sometimes they would silence their T. And a lot of TV shows that we watch from a very young age would be in American accent, like the Disney shows such as the Disney princesses shows such as Tangle, High School Musical, and maybe Cars. And British accent TV shows. I don't know if I could say the title because it has a curse word in it, but End of the King World. They are from the UK people where they speak British accent. So I have mentioned earlier, British accent tend to talk really really fast, and it is hard for us to catch up because they have their own strong pronunciation. So in this case, even though we learn English in British form, however, when it comes to speaking, I think American accent would be easier because it has similarity with what we talk right now, and it is easier to follow.
Okay. Okay, so move on to the next question, Danish.
Okay, so in your opinion, will a strong accent adversely impact your job interview later on?
In my opinion, I don't think it would give a bigger impact an impact that much with different accents like having American or British accent. But it would definitely make the interviewer impressed with you. They would think like, oh, she or he can speak this accent. She must be really good, or he must be really good in English because there are not much people in Malaysia who can speak with those accents, and people tend to have accent like us, like me, the one I'm talking, the Malaysian English. And I don't think it impacts as much because, in my opinion, as long as we could speak and people can understand you and you can understand people, it will be alright. But because there are tons of people out there are still struggling to even speak in basic English, and I mentioned, like I said before, they would be impressed because we have this Malaysian accent, and people who speak Mandarin at home would have a different ways on how to when they speak in English. They would have the Chinese accent, like "What you eat today lah," something like that. That's just an example. So to answer your question, I don't think it would give much impact, but then they would be definitely be impressed with you.
So, do you like your English accent now? Or is there anything to be improved?
To answer that question, I think I do like it because I am comfortable speaking it. I don't feel like burdened when I need to talk because I'm not speaking it. In terms of improving, well, I think we all need improvement daily, and I think the part that I need to improve is maybe the way I pronounce things and maybe to improve my vocabulary because in my opinion, this would give a greater impact compared to having an excellent accent. Because the previous question, like I mentioned in the previous question, in my opinion, I think having a good grasp of English is way important than having accent because in my opinion again, having accent is just a bonus for you maybe to communicate with people who live abroad. That's my opinion on this.
Okay, so we just wanted to know how much has your accent benefited you so far?
Alright, personally, I don't think my accent has benefited me so far because living in Malaysia, it is so common to have people who speak accents like me. And as I mentioned before, I think that confidence is way more important, and having strong grasp of English, such as choice of words and having great vocabulary and using different words every time would be better. And in my opinion, accent doesn't really affect me that much ever since I started college because as long as we can speak and we are confident with what we are saying, we are good to go.
Okay, so we have come into our last question in this session. So, can you tell me which artists, public speakers, influencers, or any other YouTubers that inspired you the most to talk with an accent? And through what platform do you watch them?
I don't have any favorite artists. Okay, of course, sorry. Of course, I do have favorite artists. But to answer this question, I do watch a lot of YouTube, and my favorite YouTuber in Malaysia would be Kafik Aisha and Aki. I know it kind of sounds very childish, but the point is, I really like how they speak English in their YouTube videos because, as you know, both of them are Malay, and even though they both have strong English, they are not shy to speak in Malay accent. So, for example, Aisha studied in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, but then she still carry the Malay accent with her, even though she studied there. And it really some somehow it really inspired me to keep on talking, even though I have this Malay accent. And some people are actually shy and scared to be judged by people who have this Malay accent because sound so boring and plain, sound really wrong at some point. But then, in my opinion, it's really great to use it on our daily conversation because with practice we could be better. And another YouTuber I mentioned earlier is Akid, and Akid is actually a guy who in mass communication and he worked under Astro. He uses English in his daily life, but it's not like a perfect accent, or he has accent like British or American or Australian, but he uses a Malay accent. But then he went to overseas, interview English cast like the Marvel cast, and when he talks to them, he still uses that Malay. He doesn't fake it. He just use it without being shy. So this somehow, like I mentioned earlier, it inspired me not to be shy to speak English with Malaysian accent because we should be proud with our accent, and in my opinion, having accent is just a bonus for you to maybe shift from one accent to another or to just speak in the situation. That's my answer for the question.
Okay, so thank you so much, Alia. Like your answer is super cool to us. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Yeah, so we have reached our like end of the interview session. So I would
Yes.
like to say take care of yourself. Say Selamat Hari Raya.
Okay.
Danish, you have anything to say?
Just thank you so much for spending time with us. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, so
No
thank you so
problem.
much,
And
Alia.
Selamat Hari Raya
See you.
as well.
All right. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank you.
for your time.
Okay, so good morning. I'm Farah, Wardina, and today I'm going to conduct an interview questions regarding the effects of accents towards daily communication and language learning among final year diploma in English communication students at Kolej Professional Seri Iskandar. And here we have our interviewee. So Marisa, can you introduce yourself?
Hello and good morning to everyone. My name is Marisa Fatehah, and I'm currently a final year student at College Professional Seri Iskandar, undertaking a diploma in English communication.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we're going to start with question number one. So, what would you like to change your accent? And please state your opinion and the reason why.
Um, Honestly, I don't believe that I would like to change my accent. I don't believe so because I don't actually feel like I have one. But if I did actually have an accent, I don't think I would like to change it because I might sound weird if I change it, or others might find it hard to understand me. So I don't believe I would like to change my accent.
You already sound good there. You speak clearly, so yes, I agree with that. So next question is that who has influenced your accent, like the way you're speaking right now?
I think for me, the ones who have had the most influence on my accent is my parents because they taught me to speak English in the first place, and I speak English more often with them. So I believe that they are the ones who have influenced my accent the most.
Okay, so in your opinion, is it okay to have multiple accents that you can change to?
In my opinion, it's perfectly fine to have multiple accents. Of course, it depends on a person's preference, but I believe it's fine. Maybe some people find certain accents easier to understand, and maybe you personally find it fun to speak in multiple accents. So I believe that it's alright to have more than one accent.
Agree. Okay, so have you like ever tried to fake an accent? So if yes, please provide evidence or example. Like, what accent did you try to fake?
I've never tried faking an accent because I believe I'm bad at faking them, so I've never tried to fake one before.
I see. I see. Would you like to fake? Would you like to try to fake one?
I don't believe so because I think because I'm bad at trying to speak an accent, so
Mm,
I people might not understand me. So I don't think I
mm.
would like to try.
Eh, Personally, we would like to do it. Most people would like to do it for fun. So yes. So next question. Do you have or learn like any kind of English accent? If yes, perhaps you would like to try speaking in the accent right now.
I've never learned any kind of accents. Like I've heard it before in movies and shows and stuff, but I've never learned it or tried to follow them, unfortunately.
Mm. Okay, so which accent do you think is the easiest? American accent or British accent?
For me, I think American accents are the easiest to understand because I've grown up listening to American accents in TV shows and videos and movies. But for me, British accents, they are much more complicated and I don't really consume media with British accents. So I think American accents are easier to understand.
Understand? Okay, so next, in your opinion, will a strong accent adversely impact your job interview later on?
In my opinion, um, as long as the accent does not affect how clear your words are, there should not be a problem with a strong accent when it comes to work interviews. I personally believe that accents are fine as long as it doesn't cause difficulty for others to understand you. So I don't think that it would cause any difficulties in the working area. Yeah.
Yes, it's important to be clear and for other people to understand, right? Okay, so do you like your English accent now, or is there anything to be improved?
I think for now, I do like my accent as I find myself easy to understand when I'm speaking, and I'm pretty comfortable with the way that I've been speaking for years. So I think I do like it. Yes.
Agree, agree. So how much has your accent benefited you so far?
Um, for the impact, I'm not sure how much of an impact it has had exactly on me because, like I said before, it's how I've been speaking for years. But then some people, like interviewers or teachers, have commented before on how clear I speak or how much easier it is for them to understand me compared to others. So I believe that in a way, my accent has benefited me in a way that it sounds clearer when I speak to other people.
True, true. You speak so clearly, and I can understand you very well. So, okay, last question. Can you tell me which artists or public speakers or influencers or any other YouTubers that inspired the most to talk with an accent? Or and through what platform do you watch them?
For in the case of artists or public speakers or influencers, I don't believe there is one set person in particular that has really resonated with me when it comes to accents. But because I grew up around American media with people speaking in American accents, I tend to find American accents more soothing on the ears compared to British accents. And when we're talking about media platforms, I use YouTube to watch videos a lot and Spotify to listen to podcasts. So I believe these platforms are the ones that have influenced me the most when it comes to my accent per se or the way I speak. Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I think that's it. So thank you, Marisa, for your cooperation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.